is Darya Tourzani. I am a PhD student in probable viscosity lab at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. And I've been in the lab now for about 5 years. I did my undergrad with him. And I've kind of developed my research to now look at a target for non-hormonal contraception, which is kind of a new thing in the field because, we've always been looking at hormone-based ideas for both male and female, and now we're moving away towards non-hormonal. And my project is working with a very specific kinase that's in the testes. We call it TSSK. And it's a group of family members, and I'm primarily looking at number 1 and number 2, and we've created these knockouts. So we call them TSSK1 knockouts. And what we're seeing is this really clear and amazing phenotype that they're sterile. And it's really nice because it's very specific, and previous years, different lab members have looked to make sure that if we're going to introduce this into a community, it's really testis specific, and it is. So it's really a nice target, and the phenotype is abundantly clear that these sperm are unable to fertilize. They're not having any pups, there's no pregnancy. So it seems to be a really strong target.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
And as a trainee, someone in this field trying to grow a career and become part of the larger space in research, what does support efforts mean to you? What do things like travel grants and those sort of specific directed funding efforts mean to you in terms of developing a career?
So I definitely think that, one, I've been lucky with my mentor. He's allowed me to attend different meetings. This is my first time here at the ISA, and I was really lucky enough that you guys helped me get here, because being a trainee, especially being a PhD, our salaries are not there, and getting us to these conferences to meet people that are in this field is a little more difficult. And I'm lucky that my mentor, his mentality is, okay, you get one conference a year. This year I'm kind of cheating because I was able to get other fundings to help me go to 2 conferences and to explore. And I really appreciate meeting different people, because in a setting especially like this one, it's so small that you're not afraid to talk to other PIs, and they come up to you, they ask you questions. And yesterday I was presenting my poster, and there were questions that I didn't know the answer to. And you don't feel intimidated, and you don't feel scared. So getting these opportunities to go to these places with people like you guys is really, really helpful for us. And I think that having more exposure of the groups, like organizations like you guys at these conferences, both benefits the trainees, because they learn, okay, I can have more opportunities, I can work with these organizations, and then you guys get the exposure of meeting the future trainees, the future people that are going to be continuing the research.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the collaborative nature and the mentorship, and that's this thing that we see constantly in this field is it's so focused, the community. Everybody is very collaborative and willing to work with each other and helpful, and it's respectful, and it's fostering a sense of, I guess, togetherness that I don't see in other fields. So that's something we've always appreciated, being a part of this and trying to help encourage that close-knitness of the community.
Oh, definitely. I mean, some of the presentations, they're sharing unpublished data, and they're open about it, and there's posters that show, look, I'm trying to make this, but it's not always working, but here's the raw data, and here's what's happening, and helping trainees learn different techniques from other trainees, PIs giving them advice. It's definitely a very warm community.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, that level of mentorship is great. So in terms of thinking about male contraception in both a scientific and a broader social sphere, what do you think about when you hear male contraception? What does male contraception mean to you?
Yeah, well, from the scientific point, because I think that scientists look at things in a different way than others who are, not working in the science. And we look at it more from, not that it's just an advance in science, but the help that it can have clinically and in countries. So I always like to think of who's going to use it. And I don't necessarily always relate it to Americans. I relate it to other countries. because the idea of contraception in many other countries is kind of, especially in the Middle East, because I have family back there, so I kind of think of what's going on in the Middle East or in countries that don't have access to the regular male contraception that we have, or it's not accepted. Whereas I think a pill is a little more discreet in family life. You're not actively talking about it. You go on your own. You kind of can figure yourself out what you want to do, what works, and then also it takes some of the burden off the women who don't have that option or can't get access to it. But I think that it's definitely something that society needs to accept, and they need to be not afraid of words like hormonal. Even if we're looking at a non-hormonal target, the moment many people in society hear hormonal, they think, oh, I'm going to have all these side effects, it's going to affect later generations, I'm going to feel uncomfortable, I don't want to put hormones. I mean, right now, if you think of the food we're eating, hormones is the big, you can't have that. Even if it's non-hormone food or hormone-free, I think the idea is kind of connected. But I think scientifically we are really close. I hope that society is ready for it, because I think it's going to happen very quickly. Especially here, there's so many groups that are, working towards it and generating knockouts, like our group that generated the knockout, and now we see it, and there's other targets that many people are looking at that the phenotype is there. We're just in the next step of, can we now reverse it? And once that happens, I think it's happening. There's no stopping it. Nobody's going to be able to put a hold on it. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely going to be, I think, really groundbreaking and beneficial.
The future is bright, and
yes.
I'm sure you've heard the joke in the field that male contraception has been 10 years away for the past 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that thinking about the timeline and how hard this is to actually develop and get out there on the market, it's so exciting where we are right now, because we're closer than we've ever been, and I really do feel that we are. Hopefully, we can put an end to that old joke.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I definitely think, and looking at what you guys have been doing survey-wise, I think that's going to open up people's mind to accepting this and helping that growth happen faster. Because you look at the numbers, and the numbers tell you 80% are open to helping their partner, and X amount are, open to the idea that they'll take a male contraception, or the types of male contraception they would use. Even I was kind of shocked by the numbers. I wasn't expecting them to be quite so high, which I think is great. But yeah, definitely the younger generation is going to help us push it forward.
Yeah, capturing that enthusiasm, that sort of mentality is so important, because there really is a sea change happening in the world around us, and being able to understand what people really believe and what they want to use and the sort of products they will enjoy that's one of our biggest driving forces.